and welcome to the next 100 Days podcast. My name is Graham Arrowsmith.
And my name's Kevin Appleby. Well, Graham, now we're all individuals when it comes to what we do and what we need. Now, sometimes the product on the shelf that's meant for Mr. Average is not for you because you're not Mr. Average. So today we're looking at bespoke mortgages and financial solutions.
We are, but
None of us are
especially,
average.
yeah, well, they're for people who, shall we say, wealthy, affluent people. And I was very fortunate to come across this young lady who got in touch with me a little while ago, and she's making waves. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about how she's going to present herself to the world a little bit later. But I'd like to welcome Chanelle Aristide.
Perfect. That's
How about that? I could have got that wrong, Chanelle. So, no, welcome and welcome to the next 100 Days podcast.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh.
So thank you. Yeah, so Mayfair Mortgage Co. That's who we are, and a little bit about us is we're a boutique client first mortgage company. Consultancy and protection consultancy. And we support everybody we do actually still support people from first time buyers, international investors and developers. So we cover all bases, so very much we like to look at sort of more specialist and bespoke products as well that we provide for the sort of high net worth individuals.
So if somebody came along, Chanelle, to you and they hadn't got two bob to rub together sort of thing, you'd say, just wander down the road. We don't want you here. Is that basically, the way you don't make the cut? I mean, Kevin will get in, but Graham, forget it, lad. Forget it. But no, presumably, you attract the right kind of people for your services.
Yes, absolutely. I've got to also work within real estate as real estate consultant as well. We have that kind of balance as well with the high net worth individuals coming through that way as well.
Yeah. No, your website that says. High net worth and ultra high net worth individuals often have complex financial arrangements, which can make securing a mortgage through standard routes challenging. Now, what actually is the problem here? Because I would have thought they're the very people that borrowers were really wanting to give money to.
Well, you'd think that, and it is the case when you go through the specialist lenders that we facilitate. But indeed, the high net worth individual may have more complex financial investments. They may have investments abroad in various different areas. So, of course, it's pulling all that information together, creating a good case to then provide to the lenders to say, here we are. These people can still benefit from the finance products that they provide, because it's really still important to be able to collate all of that info, get all the right information together, and lenders can still be quite strict about that, even if those high net worth individuals do have an abundance of finance. A lot of the time that these mortgages are sometimes held within sort of interest only products and things like that. So yes, there can be quite a lot of different challenges involved with delivering the best picture and the right information, and that's what we do.
So when it comes to these high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth individuals, then what's important is presumably a relationship that first of all they like you, and then they basically and then before long you show them that you know your stuff. And that's going to be really important. But first of all, I would imagine they've got to like you.
Yes, and building relationships and client relationships is the most important thing. From my perspective, I always provide the service that's honest, upfront, very much speed, and being very efficient is very important. And just engaging on a personal level, which is very much what I like to try and do as well.
And I have noticed from your website, and I was really delighted to see it. It's I'm going to have to take issue with you though. It's in the wrong position. But towards the bottom of your page, you have something called the Diva Mortgage and Property Report. Tell us about that.
So that's just about to be launched, first edition tomorrow. So that's
Wow.
yes. So
Yeah.
the first edition will be launched tomorrow, and we'll be looking at various different insights, lots of information.
Yeah.
And there's basically I've got a background. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So my background was in performance and PR and marketing, and I got very interested in interior design and property from that perspective in the early days, and then I've now, come into finance, working within that area, and I've always loved property. So that's where was real estate consultant in the first instance, and I now also offer mortgage and consultancy as well. And so from one perspective, it was like, well, say that I do this, do that, because I am multifaceted, which is unusual in this industry. But then pulling all of that together and delivering myself as the unique presentation in this sort of diva aspect
Yeah.
is what I'm going presenting at this stage.
And you're gonna have to tell us, because when we spoke, Diva came up, and one of the things about this is that you're a remarkable singer.
I do sing, yes. So I do.
Well, no, I don't mean in the bath or in the shower, Chanelle. You did it as a living, and
Yeah,
so but you have a beautiful voice. I mean, I've heard recordings, and I
thank
mean,
you.
you are a diva. And I think it's a perfect positioning for you, and I just think that this deserves to be right on the top of your webpage, because I think this positions you in a particular way, which is all about you. They're buying you. They're buying the
Yeah,
diva mortgage and property girl. I mean, at the end of the day, then you've got the relationship.
yes, absolutely.
But I love what you've done with the report. I've got a little snippet. I think what some of the things that you mentioned.
Mhm.
Just tell us a little bit about the report, because the diva thing, you've bled into this report. Tell us a bit more about that, because it sounds brilliant.
Yeah, well, the concept of pulling in and soul music is one of my favorite types of music. I mean, I love all music, to be fair. There's not many things that I don't like, but soul music especially. So I thought, well, let's bring in a little bit of color into that. Actually, in a conversation that we had, actually, Graham, didn't we, a couple of months ago? It was very much something that I sort of brought forward, and you sort of said, yes, that sounds fantastic, excellent. And it's nice to actually pull all of those parts of my offering into one place. And so within the Diva report, it's trying to bring in a little bit more fun, a little bit more fun to finance but still maintaining, the strategic analysis and understanding, so there is
Yeah,
professionalism, but
yeah,
it's just to try and deliver a slightly different angle
yeah.
into.
Because you're not IBM, and you never will be. And I mean, you are you. That's why people buy you. And I think the fact that you've got all this professionalism, but you've also got this brilliant ability to sing a note that not Kevin couldn't do that. I can if I'm down at Ellen Road supporting Leeds United. I'm perfect. I've got a perfect pitch.
It's
But
perfect
you,
beyond the 50,000 in the crowd. Yes,
yeah,
Graham.
well, not quite yet, but soon it will be. But I get the point. You, on the other hand, can sing soul music and make you cry with it. I mean, you have a particular voice, which makes you the diva. I mean, first of all, I mean, your name sounds like it's a name to be reckoned with. But but the thing is, haven't you put in sections relating to song titles?
I have indeed,
Tell us
yes.
tell us a couple of those then.
So, for instance, we've got sort of the market insights are around I'm coming out, and looking at, so obviously I actually appeared on ITV, and performing in the sort of style of Diana Ross a few years ago, and so that element, I thought let's bring that element into the Diva report, you know,
Wow.
and so that particular song sprung to mind with "I'm Coming Out," and then
Yep.
that will be the market insights, for example.
Yeah.
And so then there's sort of other sections within the report where you will find sort of buyers questions, and then sort of start with the song title, "How Will I Know?" So then we'll have the buyers questions off the
Yeah.
back of that, and then "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." We'll be looking at client success stories and various different things like that. And there's a few other secret.
No, you don't have to give it all.
I won't
You
give it
can't give it
all
all
away
away.
because I want you to actually all go and have a little look.
No,
And
well, remember that your report will be out before this podcast is going to be out. So basically, but then of course they'll be able to find it readily. So, but
yeah,
the beauty
absolutely.
of that is that you're blending entertainment with, frankly, fairly dry things. I mean, you know, if anybody took a look at you, Chanel, and you said, "Well, I'm a mortgage and property advisor," and they're going to say, in what world's that then? And because you don't look like one, first of
Mhm.
all, but you are, and you're
Yeah.
very skilled, but you're bringing in this other side of you, this singing side, this entertainer side, and you're blending that. Now, I think what that's going to do is going to bring you clients. I think not only that, it's going to entertain your clients, it's going to make you special, and all these other kind of like boring alternatives to you, and there'll be plenty of them. Um, before long, they'll be, "Oh, we're going to have to do this as well. Who have we got who can sing? Alice?" And it'll be that kind of thing. So I think you're ahead by a long way. But I mean, tell me to shut up. But I think you are the diva.
Thank you very much. Yes, well, that's what I'm bringing to this to the financial world, bringing a little bit more sass and confidence. So, finance can be a bit intimidating to some people.
Mm.
And I think this is hopefully going to help people sort of see a bit more of a fun side and still be able to get, the professionalism, exactly what they require. And because I really do believe in sort of, wealth creation and property access to be inclusive for all as well.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I'm hoping that this report and the start of this will have a look at the insights, and then of course come meet me, have a conversation. We can chat about what their needs and requirements are.
Good. Well, I mean, I have to say, I think you're onto something here. Personally, I'm all about marketing. So basically, I think you've got a wonderful positioning here, and that should be in your hero section with a wonderful picture of you in there. But I know that you've got a designer who's obviously an accountant. So basically, I think sack him or her off and get somebody who's going to do a good job for you. But anyway, by that, so I hope the person's listening. By the way, but since Kevin, what do you think to this idea of blending the sort of personal things with these corporate type things?
Oh, I think it's the right way to go. And I'm back at so I've had several mortgages and financial products over the years. And how did that all start? Well, it was a friend of mine, Selwyn, who was a manager of a clothing factory in North Yorkshire back in the days when Marks and Spencer's manufactured everything in the UK. And Selwyn lost his job because the factory moved overseas. And he retrained as a financial advisor. And when he was training as a financial advisor, he kind of said to me, "Kevin, I've got to find some guinea pigs to try my new skills out on. You're a chartered accountant. Can I come along and see if I can give you any financial advice?" I said, "Of course you can, Selwyn." So Selwyn managed to sell me a life insurance policy on that particular occasion. But from then on, I think Selwyn arranged me two or three different mortgages, and then he's arranged them for the kids and so on. And actually, I needed to do something financially last year. And I was really disappointed when I found out Selwyn's a couple of years older than me. that Selwyn had given up his various licenses with the FCA, and so he did recommend me to somebody else to do what I needed to do. But this thing is all about relationships all the way through. And where does that relationship start? It starts right there at the beginning. What's on the website? I mean, my relationship with Selwyn started before he was giving me any sort of advice. And I think, this sort of thing it's back under no like and trust thing. It's very, very important.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very much, I think, engaging in personality and not just, and understanding individuals and what individuals need, because we are all unique, and the conditions and the cases and the properties and everything, they're all unique, and they're also very important to each individual, and very heartfelt in what their requirements are, and they need that opportunity to have that kind of support with, where I'm very, very understanding, and Mayfair Mortgage Co are very understanding on those particular things.
Yeah.
I think, sorry, Kevin.
One thing I noticed on your website, actually, Chanelle, that's one of the things that Selwyn sorted me out with quite a number of years ago when we moved in the present house. It was technically a self-build, and we had to go through the process of getting a self-build mortgage. Now that's not that's not a particularly normal process, and there it is loud and clear on your website. These days, what are the complexities around getting a hold of one of those?
Well, I mean, when I say, I wouldn't say about the complex, I'll say a positive actually, rather than a complexity. Only that we have actually got there's some really nice opportunities at the moment around sort of green finance. There's much more, there's opportunities to be had around self-build, utilizing green finance, where you can actually save on costs if you're sort of using solar panels and various different green-based materials. So therefore, you'll actually be being able to recover some of those costs if you're able to deliver on some of these sort of green mortgages. So green, in fact, there's actually a bit of information about that that's going to be within the Diva report. So that will be a bit of information to review.
Those are all issues that 25 years ago when we did it, nobody was talking about.
Yeah. So that's something.
Complexity of how do you get a mortgage so you can pay the builder in installments.
Yeah.
And the complexities were around completion certificates for bits of the work, and we had countless arguments about that. The builder asking to be paid, and the building society saying no way.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting development finance. I mean, I had a case recently where the requirement was bridging and development finance, that the turnaround was required within sort of 9 days, and we've managed to deliver that, and that was a 1.8 million facility. So that was delivered within that very short time frame that we had to turn that around, and that also is the relationships that you have with the lenders, and those relationships that are built up with them, and being able to get things turned around quickly. So that's definitely
in what sort of situation, Chanelle? I know you're talking mostly within your client base about the affluent, high net worth people, but that self-build situation, you've got to take the mortgage out. You get the property built, you get the mortgage in portions to pay the builder, but you've got to be living somewhere else in the meantime. Is it normal these days to manage to get reasonable terms on bridging finance to sort out that situation?
Currently at the moment, things have been quite improved, and there are good. In fact, there's some really good rates at the moment in regards to bridging finance, which we can explore, and the actual structure in this particular case was actually quite complex as well, because he was looking at property that had planning and then needing bridging finance, but also needing to then go back to planning to convert it into 19 apartments. So we were talking about quite a unique sort of setup there. And again, it's the lenders that you and your relationships that you have with them, and those conversations you can sort of talk to them directly and say, right, this is what we need to do, and really sort of they can really understand those products to get you the best the opportunity for to bring to your client.
I certainly remember that relationship with my advisor, Selwyn. It often started with the conversation that said, Selwyn, want to do this? Who do we need to talk to? And Selwyn would say, "Ooh, I've looked at that for a while, Kevin. I'll go and do some research." And we'd come back being independent and say, oh, there's half a dozen building societies here we perhaps ought to talk to.
Mm. I mean, it's good to be whole market, which is exactly what Mayfair Mortgage Co are as well. So we explore the whole market.
So that
And
means you
it's,
have to have relationships with those lenders. And
yes, but we do seek, we really do look at what is the requirement from the client,
yeah.
And then we'll make sure that we build into that and make sure we find what their requirements meets
So
their
I know
requirements.
a lot of the lenders that you've got on the site include, like Skipton and Barclays, TSB, etc. They're kind of very mainstream. There
Yes.
are other specifically high net worth orientated lenders, particularly when it comes to things like insurance, but I don't know if you specifically cover insurance. But I mean, some of those are not featured here necessarily. Would you also have other people that you would talk to
Absolutely.
those?
Yeah, including sort of Coots and Co and various different sort of high-end lenders,
Yeah.
private banks.
Yeah.
They're very much
Yeah.
in our remit.
Yeah.
And sorry, it's Graham.
Well, no, I was good.
You're going to ask me.
But one of the things that they do, this is through a bit of experience working with somebody in that market, was that it is a lot about relationships.
Yeah,
They'll have a panel of maybe 15 or so of these types of people, and then they would effectively go and try and source the right kind of policy for a particular person who wants to insure a mansion or whatever it is that they have, and effectively that's what their business model was about. You're slightly wider because obviously you've got mortgages, protection, or you've got other types of products. But
hmm
sometimes these are quite specialist areas of these companies. I mean, these are you'd call them mainstream
yeah,
lenders, but presumably you have to talk to very specific areas of their companies.
absolutely.
Yeah,
We're looking more at the sort of the private
yeah,
banking areas
yeah,
in for those particular
yeah.
clientele.
So you're always in some sort of pub in the center of the city somewhere with a glass of something in your hand and you're talking to somebody and buttering them up. Is that the approach?
Oh well, I mean, I very much actively do network as part of my real estate arm as well. Obviously, there's a lot of uh, socializing aspects and meeting people that does happen
Yeah.
on both sides. So yes, I'm very much around and about town.
And when it and do you often break out into song? I mean, because
Sometimes, absolutely.
oh wow,
It's
well,
come
yeah,
up.
it depends how many drinks you've had, I suppose, doesn't it? Really, but
Well, I've been asked without having had any drinks, and
oh right, okay,
so
okay.
that it does happen.
What's your
Um,
go-to then? We're itching to know. What I mean, okay, so if you had to sing a song to an audience, let's just say you're a networking meeting and the crowd's spreading and you're right in the center and the lights are right on you and everybody else is in dark and they're all thinking, what on earth is she going to sing?
oh, that's a good question, and it's funny the song that just popped into my head.
I was
You to me are
expecting,
everything. I'm just trying to remember the actual. But you to me are everything, the sweetest song I can sing. Oh, baby. Now that just because lots and lots of people tend to just automatically get up and start dancing at
Dance.
that one.
Yeah,
They do.
yeah,
yeah,
It's a winner.
yeah. Wow. I mean, I think this is a first, Chanel. We've been recording this for, I don't know, 485 or so probably a few more podcasts, and no one has sung so far. Am I
Oh,
wrong, Kevin?
I think you're absolutely right.
I don't think we had a single
Podcast.
person who's broken out into song.
oh,
Which is
well,
why I
well,
wanted you on the podcast because I knew you would at some stage. But Chanel, that was wonderful, and that was spontaneous as well. So in your past, then you did a little bit of work singing. Yeah,
yeah.
tell us, was it an interesting experience?
Oh, I love singing. It's something that's good for the soul. I mean, it's something I'll never stop. It's something that I do. I love singing and songwriting. It's something that appeals to me. I think everybody should sing. No
Yeah.
matter what you do, no matter what job you do, I think it's, as I say, good for the soul.
So
Um,
are we gonna hear that the next song you're gonna be is the next 100 days or something associated with the podcast that you were on? I think that would be good. I think we should have a song written about us, Kevin.
Well, that's it. We need a new piece of introductory music, don't we? It'd be
you need
nice.
a new
We
little
do.
jingle.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
do, yeah, absolutely. Hey, maybe what we should do for this one is get Chanel to sort of sing something that we can use as the front part of the. Wow, that's a really good idea. I'm sort of talking to myself here, but but so, but I no, I honestly,
Sounds like a plan. Let's do
it
it.
does. We probably can't afford your fees, but well, I know we can't afford your fees, but no, seriously, I mean, you've done that. You still do a little bit of that, but
Yeah, only
it's
to touch it to keep, as I say, it keeps the soul. It's a yeah, a fantastic thing to do. Again, a lot of sort of private functions. It was very much sort of very private events and
yeah.
that kind of thing.
I mean, the really wealthy high net worths, you want to call them ultra, then fine. But the ones who've really made it in life, and often this isn't often. I mean, people who usually got it wrong about ultra high net worths. They haven't been handed this, not in the main. They've made it. So you look at the likes of Musk and so forth, and you the ones who are seriously wealthy have made it themselves. And so, but these people, they'll have certain characteristics, but I think they would warm so much to you because you're different.
Thank you.
No, I do. I think that's because it's a bit like, yes, yeah, she, mortgage, all that kind of stuff. She can sort all of that, but you'll love her. And I think that kind of you've almost got a Renaissance woman approach, and I'm going to call him Renaissance man, but you're a woman. So basically, an ace, in this idea of being able to do lots of things well, and I think that is I don't know if there's that many people out there that can do that. I mean, you're obviously expert at mortgages and protection and all that kind of stuff, and like Kevin said, you understand that. You got great relationships. You can sing. You've entertained. You've done all kinds of different things. Is there no end to your talent?
Well, I think the thing is in life, I think I feel quite blessed that I've had the opportunity to do different things. But um, I think the thing in life is it's amazing and things I think learning all the time in life is a brilliant thing. So
Yeah,
and turning your hand to anything is good.
yeah,
So I've always had an interest in finance. I was actually really good at school, but then I kind of just went off to the singing path for a while, and life's kind of brought me back round into it again, and I've always loved property, and
yeah.
so I've got the opportunity to be working in both, whilst with the performance side of things, it's a joy to sort of sing and perform for people and put a smile on their face, and it's the same thing I get that same kind of feeling I get with helping people with getting finance for developments or for their new homes. So.
And a lot of the work that you're doing, especially within this report, which can't wait to see the first issue, is well, first of all, it's aimed at a particular geography, isn't it? Tell us more. Yeah, I mean, you're limiting it to, or I think you limit it to mainly in the south south part of London, as that was the plan originally, but I don't know if it's changed any.
It's well because I do also deal with the main sort of focus on the with regards to the information is UK based in
Okay.
the in this first edition,
Okay.
and but of course because I also do assist international clients, expats as well. So I
Yeah.
think as the editions go on.
Yeah.
In particular, the spotlight area
Yeah.
on that page, there'll be sort of bits of insight, different bits of information that may filter in on that page along
Uh,
the way.
you'll have to open an office in Dubai, because basically a lot of the high net worths have cleared off there.
Yeah, this is true.
It's
Yep.
is it something like 10 to 15,000 of them? I don't know what this government's playing at. I mean, I'd sack them tomorrow if I had a chance. If I had a magic wand, they'd be gone tomorrow. And the world would be, well, certainly most of the country would be cheering. But I've never known a government so unpopular.
No.
You ask me, well, I could see it coming, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, Kevin, but you're
Yeah,
probably
but
more sanguine about these
that's
things.
if that's a real statistic, Graham, that 15,000 high net worths have gone off to Dubai in the last 12 months. That is
Well, other parts of the world, but
Oh,
Dubai is
yeah.
one of the main things. Yeah, yeah, but and it is, and it's um, one of our previous guests, Rob Moore, he talks about this quite extensively in his posts and on his podcast, etc. And basically, there's a lot of there's a lot of worry about that because basically these guys were shelling in money to the exchequer, and for them to make it such a difficult place for people to live. And of course, it's going to filter down. They will not stop from taking your money. And so, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
we have to do something about it. And then other things that are happening because of the government. But sorry, we're going off at a
Oh, but
slight
I mean,
tangent.
in sort of reflection in regards to that, and something obviously, as I say, as well as mortgages, I offer real estate consultancy as well,
Okay.
and again that covers that's worldwide, and so for those high net worth individuals that are actually looking to exit,
Yes.
I can also assist them with that opportunity and those sort of links. So yes, it is a bit of a sorry state of affairs in
Yeah.
regards to that. But in regards to sort of developments on that side of things, and development finance, I mean, there are a few blockers because of this Gateway 2 and Gateway 3, which is causing a bit of havoc in the construction industry
Yeah.
and developments overall, the backlog, which is a bit of a shame, but there's still lots of opportunity because there's still a housing crisis. There's still people that need a home
Yeah.
and will need homes. So there's still a lot of opportunity there, especially for the buy to let.
that's a question. Housing crisis. And is that something that's real outside of London? Because now I look around the northeast of England. There are houses being built absolutely everywhere. Greenfield being built on. Seems to be absolutely no shortage at all of new development.
Mhm.
Yet, I hear on the radio, housing crisis, we're not building enough houses. Is
Yeah,
that a UK problem or is it just a London problem?
I think it's. I mean, obviously, London. There's a lot of restrictions, less space in lots of ways, but the actual restrictions are also coming from this Gateway 2 and Gateway 3 restrictions to do with sort of and that's actually stopping. It basically the development side of things and the construction side of things are sort of slowed down because where the applications are 100, say the government are only processing 50, just for example, hypothetically, and so therefore it's slowing the process down for the building. So some places have sort of the developers have started building and they're now stuck in this process. So where things aren't getting turned over quick enough, and I think that's quite a bit of a concern because that's just slowing everything down. So where the properties need to be flying up sooner, they aren't being able to. So it is causing delays.
Well, maybe we could put people up in Oh no, hold on a minute. No, no, there's no space in hotels anymore, is it? But no, no, I'm not jesting. I'm frustrated, but like a lot of people, with the way in which the government has manufactured a crisis for us. But having said, and they'll blame it on the previous government, but I'd tar them all with the same brush.
Mhm.
From my point of view, you on the other hand are doing your level best to stay calm, and you know your skills with all of these mortgages and financial solutions and real estate. I mean, you're still young, and so I know you have a family as well, don't you? So basically, you've got a full, I don't know what I'm going to say, 25 years or so before you have to think about giving it all up, unless, of course, the government make you work until 80 by the time you get there. But that, so that'll extend it.
That's
But
possible.
yeah, it's possible. You'll be still knocking out the sort of Diana Ross's song when you're sort of 75. You don't worry about
There's an interesting question, Graham. You
Yeah,
could be expecting us to work latey, but the AI will have taken all the jobs.
it. Yeah, well, yeah, there's some
yeah.
irony in that. But you, no, how do you see that future of yours? Is it something that you've thought about? Because I mean, this is something that you're obviously passionate about. You're developing. Love the
Mhm.
Diva report. I think it's going to be fantastic for you. Um, where do you see yourself in another 5 years?
5 years' time. That's a good question. Well, I mean, ultimately things are changing. AI is moving forward. You just have to embrace it. That's the thing. You have to be the master of those tools. I think that's the important thing to do. I mean, I can see why everyone's being a bit scared of it. It's
Yeah,
change, it's new. And I must admit, initially I was thinking probably similarly, but at the moment now, I see the opportunities, and I think that um, it's a case of not being scared of them and embracing the opportunity where you can, especially those people whose jobs might be affected. Then it's time to reskill, retrain, just like as I've done
yeah,
in different things, different feats. It's
yeah.
doing that.
Well, what a lovely positive answer to wrap us up with, Chanel. You've been an absolutely wonderful guest on the next 100 Days podcast. Thank you.
So, Graham, we've recorded two podcasts together, and a
Mhm.
theme that's come out of both of them to me is that relationships are very, very important. And whether it's coaching sort of advice or it's financial advice you want, there's got to be a chemistry between you and the individual you're working with.
Yeah, really. It's nice that you've drawn that comparison from today's. I mean, just for those people listening, we do sometimes batch together the podcasts, and so yeah, the relationships. It seems obvious though, doesn't it? But it is so true that and the thing that struck me when I first met Chanel was if you like, the core of her soul was singing, was entertaining, and the bits around it was this level of knowledge that was really good. But her soul, she's a diva, and we sort of discussed that. It sort of led to the idea of the report, and I have a view about what it should be, and it's a great technique, and this isn't just about the diva report. This is about building a sort of a report for your market. And her market are those people looking for real estate, mortgages, financial solutions, etc. So those people who effectively take that report and are entertained by it by having soul songs as sort of like almost like headings in the report. Brilliant, brilliant, because it talks to her as a diva. So I love the fact that she's doing that. But if you think about, and let's, one of the early kind of consumer type reports was um, for carpet cleaning, and you can build a consumer report for carpet cleaning. You could build a consumer report for I don't know, something to do with finance. So, but the whole idea of it is that it's a great way to capture the people who could be and will be interested in your businesses. So I think that's where she's really getting it right. That's why I think critically that one of the things that she should do with her designer is to say, just redesign it so that the report, which is core to her, goes right at the top, not some picture of London. I think it's all about her. It's all about her ability to for her to deliver this report that shows her skills, that entertains people, that's worth taking compared to the thousand other companies who do the same thing.
Mm, very much so, yes. I think the power of those sorts of reports, I think, is tremendous.
Yeah, very
Um,
much.
Now, there's a debate there. Should you be giving that away free and establishing your authority, or should you be putting it there and making people give you an email address for it? And it's funny, just earlier today, I had that discussion with our marketing team on a series of reports I've been putting together. And it's a very interesting debate to be had.
The meeting prior to this one that I told you I was in was exactly the same thing. It will be a report. You know what it's going to be about. We'll talk about it in another podcast another day. But it was a question of how much is that worth? Now,
Yes.
I have a view that the nominal rate would be relative. It's potentially very, very valuable. But some other people think maybe almost 10 times what I'm saying for that report. And I'm like, no, 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 don't go out of the way of making it hard for people to say yes, even though it's for corporates. Keep it keep it at a level that somebody doesn't have to think about it, that it's petty cash, that it's because then the hard work will be implementing the report. Now we'll talk about this another time, but I can promise you the report we're talking about will be very, very helpful to people, to businesses. But there is a debate, and there's always a debate. Do you do it? And what you want is you want people to sort of put their hand up to say, I am interested in you and in that report. And the whole idea of it is if you make it compelling enough, with the you give them almost like a taster. This is what's in the report. This is the sort of executive summary, very high level view. Now, do you want the beef? So I think what in the case if looking at Chanelle, what she's got there is potentially a report where she can talk about some of the services, some of maybe the properties that are on for sale, etc. Just to give people an idea of how she can help them get into the right properties in Dubai or in London or in Surrey or wherever. And I think that is basically what her report will ultimately be about. And I love the fact that she's making it about her skills. So that is something that I think she should look forward to with glee because I think she'll be different. And I think in this market you need to be different.
Yeah. And I still think that free versus paid comes down to you give away the what you need to do, you charge for the how you do it.
Well, couldn't agree more. And that's definitely the approach we're taking. But there are other people with a different agenda in terms of just the way in which they want to use the report to generate a bigger, I don't know, a more strategic sale. And I understand that. It's just we're all different. And on that bombshell note, I've been Graham Arrowsmith.
I've been Kevin Appleby. Goodbye.
Goodbye.